evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Time. We want to start tonight's program with a Fox News alert. Saudi Arabia has confirmed this evening the death of Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi. State-run media in the kingdom is reporting that Khashoggi was indeed killed. They said it happened in a fist fight at the Saudi consulate in Turkey. We'll try to explain what it all means just a minute from now. But first, an update on the facts of the case. Benjamin Hall is in Istanbul with those. Ben?
Hi, Tucker. 17 long days we've waited for this explanation. Now we are getting it today, and only a few days after Secretary Pompeo flew to Riyadh and demanded answers. What Saudi state television and the Saudi prosecutors are telling us, and what they're releasing publicly, is that they have now arrested 18 individuals connected to the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. Now, the majority of those people, they say, were the same ones caught on CCTV in Istanbul, entering the consulate and then leaving shortly afterwards. And what they say happened inside was a fight, effectively. I'll read you some of the statement. It says, a discussion between Khashoggi and the people who met him while at the consulate led to a fight and a clash with hands, resulting in his death. And that line, with hands, is very important. Remember, all the leaks we've heard from Turkey point towards torture, dismemberment, pulling off of fingers. So Saudi Arabia clearly trying to distance itself from the gruesome nature of this story that we've been hearing. Now, among the 18 who have been arrested, 5 high-ranking figures, and this is crucial. Among them, a man called General Asiri. He is the deputy head of Saudi intelligence. He had trained in the US and the UK. He was, in fact, the former spokesman for the Saudi-led war in Yemen, a major figure in Saudi intelligence, and alongside him, a senior aide to Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince. But that is as far as the connection to the royal family goes. In fact, they are denying any involvement. In fact, they're saying that they have to push back on this, completely restructured the intelligence services in light of this. So they are coming with a line of total deniability. Now, Saudi sources also saying that the king himself reached out to President Erdogan a couple of hours before this news broke. He wants to smooth over relationships with that country. The last 2 weeks have been torturous over here, a geopolitical storm, and that he's trying to put to rest. But the bigger question now, can he settle issues with the US? We're waiting for a statement from the White House now. We are waiting for that, but what we have been hearing from on Twitter are a number of senators. We've heard from Lindsey Graham. He isn't believing it. You remember a couple of days ago, he came out firmly against Mohammed bin Salman. Well, he has been saying, to say I am skeptical of the Saudi narrative about Mr. Khashoggi is an understatement. So this may smooth over some of the cracks as far as regional politics go. Whether or not it has a lasting issue in the US, we just don't know yet. We are getting breaking news constantly. I'm speaking to Saudi sources. This is the story we were expecting. The sense that this was an interrogation gone wrong. It was sanctioned by someone quite high level, but not in the royal family. That's what we are getting now. We have to see how it plays out. Is there lasting damage done between the US and Saudi Arabia? We have to see. One big question. Where is the body? Who sanctioned it? Why did 15 of them go to the consulate to interrogate one man? Those remain unanswered today, and we will try and bring you all of them as we get them from here. Tucker?
Where's the body? Great question. Ben, thank you very much. So there you have it. Khashoggi is, in fact, dead, as we have already been told, and the Saudis did it. They admit it now. What should we make of this? Well, the usual head nodders on TV seem stunned by the news. They can hardly believe that a bloodthirsty medieval theocracy would do something like this. Really? The Saudis? The same people who cut off the hands of thieves and behead adulterers in public parks? The same regime that is currently prosecuting one of the world's cruelest wars in one of the world's poorest countries, Yemen. You're telling me these people murdered a political opponent? Doesn't sound like the Saudis we know. Come on. Of course they did it. We knew they did it. Their only concern was getting caught. Now they have been caught, and they probably regret the whole thing. All of that makes sense. None of it is surprising. What is confusing is the wave of false posturing on display from our own mindless ruling class. Khashoggi's death, they're telling us, is now somehow the most important story in the world. Far more important than the many political murders China commits each year, far more than Saudi Arabia, or the countless children the Saudis have bombed and starved to death in Yemen. More than that, they're telling us it's a moral litmus test, the latest in a long series of moral litmus tests that are delivered to us by Fiat on cable news. Support this, don't support that, otherwise you're a bad person. That's the message of almost every show. Share my beliefs or you are damned. Now, in this case, it's a little confusing because keep in mind, these are the same people, the ones commanding you to hate the Saudis, who just months ago were uncritically repeating Saudi talking points right from the embassy. Remember when we bombed Syria last spring and bombed it the year before? Well, the Saudis pushed that. Everyone knew that. It might have been nice to hear that on television. We could have used some media skepticism at the time, but no. Only this show pretty much brought that up. The rest of the press loved it. They love all wars. The more distant and the more pointless, the better. Okay, but spare us the theatrics now. This is a stunt. It's an international incident hyped and manufactured for domestic political goals. Here are the goals. Watch this.
The president is completely in the pocket of any other dictators in the world because he admires their ability to basically kill or tacitly allow the death of anybody who criticizes them.
When Donald Trump calls the press the enemy of the people, and it's not implausible that the Saudis heard that and thought, no one is going to care. After all, these people are the enemies of the people.
And you see it with his complicity, and it is complicity in the murder of a Washington Post columnist by a Middle Eastern thug.
Spare me. Meanwhile, today, Congressman Joaquin Castro floated the bizarre theory that Khashoggi's murder was ordered by Jared Kushner. Even CNN seemed confused by this. Watch.
Let me get to the point that I think is most disturbing right now. The reporting that Jared Kushner may have, with U.S. intelligence, delivered a hit list, an enemies list, to the Crown Prince, to MBS in Saudi Arabia, and that the prince then may have acted on that, and one of the people that he took action against is Mr. Khashoggi.
Just to be clear, Congressman, we don't have, I just want to be clear for our viewers, we do not have that reporting.
Yeah, that's a sitting member of Congress who just said that. These are not serious people. They know nothing. They will say anything. They are buffoons. Spare us the lectures, please. We'll have more on news from Saudi Arabia in just a few minutes.